I think the job that I understand I'm supposed to do is a bit hard. I want to congratulate everyone in this room, IFC, InfoVentures, and of course the AI team, and all of you, the chairs. But I also want to beat the drum and underline the challenge that we have, because it is hugely daunting. Let's be real. If you look at the amount of private sector investment in Africa for infrastructure, with the last data point we have, the PPI database from the World Bank, of the $107 trillion mobilized, 2014, how much was for sub-Saharan Africa? 2%. 2%. Now, I just checked on that ICT study on project preparation facilities. It was done in 2014. The total amount of project preparation facilities was stated as only $190 million. What did we say we need? The same report says that the demand for project preparation facilities is $3.36 billion, which leaves us with a financing gap, annual financing gap of $3 billion. So, you know, the reality is, and is so eloquently said for so many people, we're not just talking about projects. We're talking about a fully integrated, sustainable development strategy with these infrastructures providing the physical backbone, locally, nationally, regionally. So, you know, if you look at the themes here, I think there's a huge work stream for this group. And in fact, it takes me back to the days when I managed country risk for Chase Manhattan Bank, and we set up the Institute for International Finance, where the banks realized that it was too big not to collaborate, too big not to put together the kinds of ideas that have been put forward today. So just very quickly, and I know this is not going to capture all the gems here, but one, and having participated as the vice chair of the FFD Business Steering Committee at the UN, we may have gotten into the Addis Action agenda, little blurbs on project development and all this kind of stuff, but the fact is, there really is not an awareness of the heavy lifting of project development, that unless we deliver on that, there is no finance, right? You know, we cannot deliver on any of the SDGs. We can't, you know, fight terrorism. I mean, this is a real global macroeconomic and political challenge. So I think what we need to do is to translate that political understanding here into the technical frameworks that people have put forward, right? And we've talked about ways to do that cost effectively, whether it's standardization of documentation, detailed processing, the different instruments. Secondly, we've talked about the need for more cost-effective communication and collaboration frameworks within the private sector, between the private sector and government, and of course, with the DFIs and the DFIs together. I mean, it's an incredible task when you look at a deal team. What it takes to really put one together and work together, create the trust, and deliver. And one of the key points, I think, is one that's incredibly hard. We have very technical processes that's very hard. There's no real glossary of terms. The people in government often don't understand all of this, but is performance metrics. How can we really summarize and show how well we're doing and help governments and civil society understand the costs of delay, the costs of extended negotiation, the costs of reneged deals, and the like. A fourth point, quickly, is we talked a lot about experience, talent, track record. So how do we really get that done? How do we develop the local plugged-in deals to get these? Fifth, innovative partnerships about the systemic issues we have to face. This is really tough, the currency risk. Think back to the Asian debt crisis. Think what happened to PPAs that were indexed to the dollar. Think about what happened to project developers. I mean, this is really a huge technical issue. take the macroeconomic weaknesses, do your stress test on your cash flows. Very tough stuff. Lastly, I just want to bring out one of the things we've been trying to put forward. You have this whole blended finance revolution with SDIP, the WEF, the OECD, convergence. One of the things we have tried to put forward with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is the need for what we're doing here. How do we actually put together the technical implementation frameworks to get done? And so one of the obvious things that we could do together is put together for example, AFDB has put together a directory of project preparation funds. But that has to be much more accessible, and it's going to be the private sector and demand from the countries that are going to make those products more usable. Same with risk mitigation instruments, same with the access to experts. So in closing, I just want to congratulate everybody and hand it over to Hubert and Precious for the well-deserved awards. Thank you.
Doing business in Africa. You can't afford to be without Africa Investor.